Good morning, everybody. Nice sunny morning. It rained last night, so I figured let's get these weeds pulled. It'll loosen the soil up. So I'm going to go through, weed my entire garden, and weed all the garden beds. So come with me and pull some weeds. Today's weather's way different than yesterday's. Yesterday was sunny. It was breezy, but the sun was so hot that it didn't feel as hot as it was. As always, if you guys catch my past videos, I always keep a bucket like this. Just go through and always have it on hand to pick a weed here and there. Alright, so I pulled the majority of the weeds here. I'm focusing on more of the clover and the grass because their roots can go down quite a distance. A lot of these little ones, as soon as I take a rake over them, they'll pull up easily. I'm not very concerned about that. Couple green spots you see in this bed is volunteer strawberries, so I'm going to leave them, and when they get a little bit more established, I'm going to pull them out. And I think, let me try to shade this. I think that might be chickweed. I could be wrong, but if it is, it's definitely staying, and I didn't really put 2 and 2 together with that because this whole bed, there was quite a bit of them in there, so I'm a little, if that is chickweed, I'm a little disappointed that I yanked it up. I went on the other side of this arch trellis as well and got all the big ones up. Did the pathway just from the left to right of this arch trellis, so now I'm just going to go through the beds. There's probably 1 or 2 in each bed that I have to yank, and then just a few in the walkways here. So we're just going to get that done real quick. Best time to weed is right after it rains. It makes it a heck of a lot easier to pull everything up and get all the root systems on them. And so far in just those 2 beds, I've got half of this 5-gallon pail filled up, so there's a lot of little weeds in there. Even this little guy right here, the root on that is just about as long as it is, so just pull slow. All right, I went through all my beds besides this long back bed, only because we're going to be messing around with that. So I'm going to get to that later today. It's just for right now, because I believe in a couple weeks or even the next week I can start, or in the next few days actually, I can start planting my onions. Onions temps they can survive, I think, what is it, 19, 20 degrees. So I'm fine with planting them out. So I just want to get these all prepped. I'm going to take some of these cattle panels off of this bed because I had tomatoes in these too last year. So I'm going to move where I plant my tomatoes. But as far as the weeding, you guys, if you just honestly keep a bucket, keep anything in your garden. So when you're out here just cruising around your garden, looking at your vegetables growing, and you see a weed, just pick it. It's so much easier to just pick a little weed than it is to try to get the whole root system out of one that's been growing for a month. And I get asked all the time, how do you keep it so clean and tidy? That's the reason how I do. I don't get every single little tiny one. Like for instance, well, actually that one just fell. But there's some really tiny ones growing everywhere in here. All I'm going to do with those is pull off the leaves. I'm not even going to get the roots. So I'll wait. That's why I keep a bucket in my garden. And I just pull them when they are a little bit bigger. I do have from all the washout, which this is all going to be corrected anyways. There's a lot of little green right here if you actually really look. So I'm going to go through and just tease it with a rake, which is what I'm going to do with most of the beds that have small little weeds starting to grow. Is I'm just going to tease it with the rake. It'll make it so much easier. It'll pull right out. And this again, I think that might be chickweed. So I'm pretty excited if that's what that is. Next on my list is to clear up all of the leaves in this section right here and on the other side of the fence. And I'm going to try to clean up some of the area where it washes out all the time. Yesterday I planted a bunch of hostas up by the house, and I was going to get to these. Kind of honestly totally spaced them. So we're going to get those in the ground as well today. And then around my garden shed here, I just have some pots that I'm going to dump all the soil out and kind of remix it and amend it. I have this a pile of glass right here. I have to get that picked up. When we were expanding the garden, we found a bunch of glass from an old door that was washed out and buried underneath all that sand and dirt. So just a few things like that just to get everything tidied up and ready to go. So as soon as full-on garden planting starts, I have no little projects to do. All right, I'm starting back here in the far back of my corner of the garden. This was all full of leaves. I did not rake on the outside of the fence, just the inside. This whole path right here pretty much looked like I seeded grass. It was green, so I just took the rake, teased the rock, and a lot of the little seedlings starting to grow, whatever it is, it'll pretty much kill them. The leaves are really underneath, are really wet, so we'll go through and probably take the blower and blow all the leaves out. But I cleaned up all along the whole fence here. This side where all my mint was, or is, got that cleaned up. This whole corner looks nice. Inside and outside of the fence. This was all washed out, so I raked a bunch of gravel back up. My door, there's probably 3 or 4 inches of gravel when I opened it, so I kind of took a lot out of there. And if I swing them around, I'll show you guys the other view. I did take all the soil out of my pots and I put it in the wheelbarrow. What I'll do is just kind of take all the root bound stuff out of there and remix it and put it back into the pots. This area here in front of the garden shed, I cleaned all that up, got rid of the scrap pieces of wood, obviously the pots. And then around the corner, I took all the leaves. There was a bunch of leaves in here. This right here, the winter it beat that up. So we got some extra plywood. We're gonna put that on there. These pots right here have the tulip bulbs in it, which I don't think are gonna come out. So that that's a shame. One last look of everything. It's really starting to look nice and neat and tidy and get ready for the garden season. So we will close the garden door for the day. And we'll see you guys later.